teammates or?
Yeah, so I saw Ricky coming in. We rode in the shuttle and stuff together. Got to talk to him a little bit, but still excited to meet the other guys as well.
Isaac, did you always have pro football aspirations, or was there a part of you that maybe thought you might go into track since you were a state track champ?
Yeah, that was definitely a thought. Obviously, I always wanted to play in the NFL, but there came a point, when I was younger, I wasn't highly recruited, so I was like maybe track is the way to go, but fortunately, I was given a few opportunities, and then I just took those and went from there.
So when you think about not being highly recruited at that day or that time of your life to being here today, what's the difference in your thoughts?
Um, Honestly, it's a crazy feeling, just I feel like I was doubted a lot, growing up, playing football and stuff like that. But to be able to get to this point, to prove to the 5-year-old version of myself, who dreamed to be in this position, to that I'm actually here, it's exciting. But now it's about maintaining that. So I'm definitely excited for it for sure.
Were you mainly a receiver in high school, a wide receiver?
Yeah, that was all I played, receiver. Yeah.
What led to the transition to running back?
Yeah, so obviously went to Wisconsin at first. And I just talked to the offensive coordinator a lot in the process when I was transitioning there, and he just saw more fit. He gave me like Jonathan Taylor comparison. He can't complain about that. But also being a part of an offense, they didn't throw the ball a lot when I was there, and he just saw more opportunity if I were to switch to running back. Obviously, the amount of great running backs that have came out of that school was a lot. So it was I saw a big opportunity for me. So I was really happy with the switch, and then obviously I've been there ever since.
Just in general, running backs in football have become more and more involved in running routes as part of the pass game. So how much do you think that your receiver background has helped you as far as that goes?
Yeah, I definitely think it helps me a lot. I think being able to put that on tape is important. Obviously, at Wisconsin, it was more limited, but with the new offense, going to Brom's offense at Louisville, it definitely helped me a lot being able to showcase that some more and just continue to show more value. I think that's what's important at this position.
Brom was a third string QB here behind Steve Young, and has he talked about that? And since you got drafted, have you had a chance to talk about that with him?
He mentioned it briefly. He hadn't really went into depth, but I planned on calling him soon. Just to talk about him, just kind of how the transition and stuff went for him. So I think it's always good to get information like that, especially going through the transition myself. So.
You mentioned last time when we talked to you that you were going to annoy Christian McCaffrey with questions. Have you had an opportunity to talk to him at all and annoy him?
I have not. No, I haven't seen him. Haven't got the introduction yet. But once I do, I'm definitely going to start attacking him with the questions.
Coach Bobby Turner interrupted our interview with you on Zoom. How did the phone call eventually go?
Oh, he always handles it well. Whenever I'm busy or something happens, he's just like at your earliest convenience. But I let him know, and he had a good laugh about it. So.
How did that conversation go? That congratulations that you're finally a Niner.
It was good. Obviously, I'd had conversation with him like the past few days like before. So just finally making it official, he was excited about it. Obviously, I just let him know how excited I am to truly get to work with him. So it was an exciting phone call.
Isaac, you said that some people doubted you that you would make it in football when you were younger. Why? What were they saying, and what did you have to prove them wrong about?
I think it was more of like just a overlook type thing. I think there was just always a lot of people put in front of me. I think one thing that I kind of pride myself on is like, if somebody's better than me at something, that's perfectly fine. It just drives me to continue to try and get better at that. But, I think there was times where it's like, I feel like I'm really doing everything I'm supposed to. I feel like I'm, working hard, performing well, but, I'm still put behind, people who might not have been. But, just continuing to be patient and continuing to just wait for my time. I think that's one thing that I've always done and one thing I'll continue to do. And, I think that mentality has got me to this point.
How many games did you start in college?
1.
How do you explain that? Like, is that kind of what you're talking about there?
Yeah, I think it's a similar thing, but I've played with a lot of great backs, been in a lot of great rooms. So I mean, I think that's it itself. But I think at the same time, going to this level, making this transition, I think it's something that helps me because, a lot of these guys have been the feature guy. Pretty much since they were young, they were, the guy at their high schools and they were the guy at their colleges. But I think for me, it's it kind of gives me a leg up in the sense that what are these guys going to do when they aren't the starter? How are they going to handle that? How are they going to move forward with that? And given the fact that I've already been through it like plenty of times, like obviously it's not going to change my mindset. I'm going to continue to work hard with whatever it is, but just continuing to embrace that role.
Did it ever bother you that you weren't a starter?
Obviously, it's frustrating. You want to contribute and play as much as possible, but I think if I were to let it bother me, it probably wouldn't allow me to be ready for those moments when I did get them. So, I just continued to have that patient mindset so that I could be ready for those moments.
I mean,
What
toward
is it
that
that
end,
you
people
want
think
to,
about NFL running backs and having sort of a finite amount of carries that they'll have in their career before they
Right.
it starts to decline. The fact that you haven't had that you haven't had the 250 to 300 carry year, is that a good thing when you hit your physical peak right now?
Right. I like to think of it as a positive more than anything. People talk about tread on tires, stuff like that. I think that's an advantage for me. And, I think it also kind of leaves out there, like, I feel like I still have yet to play my best ball. So, continuing to progress, become a better player. I think that's the exciting thing about it. But, I'm going to continue to attack and, embrace whatever role I'm given.
what is it that you want to ask Christian McCaffrey? I mean, and those veteran guys, what are you sort of curious about coming into this system?
I think a big thing as far as transition to the NFL, you talk about recovery and, the season's a little bit longer. You don't have bowl prep to rest a little bit. And, it's like, you're going pretty much until February, depending on like playoff games and all that stuff. So obviously, I've always kind of prided myself on this quote. It's like the best ability is availability. If you're not available, it doesn't matter what you can do on the field because, you can't be out there. So obviously recovery, but I think, just kind of what things help slow the game down for him. Obviously, he's playing at the highest level and he's playing well at the highest level. So to learn from a back like that is obviously exciting.
Seems as your college career went on, you became more and more consistently available. Like you just said, was that a product of you learning what worked, what didn't, and making tweaks as it went on?
Yeah, I think it was just about finding a routine, finding things that worked best for me. And unfortunately, it took a little bit, like a few years, but once I was able to find that consistent routine and stick with it, I've been good since then.
If you can recall, most memorable conversation that you've had since draft day and up to this point that motivated you, or that is still motivating you now that you know that you're a Niner?
I would say, honestly, like probably a couple of days ago. So I was talking to one of our O linemen who also transferred into Louisville. I believe it was in the summer he transferred in, and we're just having a conversation just about, like the future, the plans, obviously wanting to play in the NFL and stuff like that. And, he mentioned to me, and I completely forgot that I'd even said it. Obviously I had a realistic mindset at this point. I think the highest somebody might have had me was like 7th round, but, he was like, you remember you saying like, you just wanted to try to hold on to like, possibly get drafted, but I kind of already had that mentality like I'm probably going to go undrafted, so I just need to attack with this mindset, and I'm perfectly fine with that, but to actually be drafted, is a crazy feeling. So when he reminded me of that, it was just kind of like a boost of confidence, like wow, like I came a long way. So I would definitely say that.
What's it been like to get in this building and see where your workplace is going to be?
It's been good, just getting acclimated with everything around, like the facility, meeting everybody. Since I've been there, everything's been like a pleasant experience.
In the last few months have been so much about business, but to be able to get back on the field soon with this team now, how excited are you for that moment?
I mean, everybody should be excited to start playing football again. No longer running 40s or doing broad jumps or verts. None of that. It's time to just put the pads on and make some plays. So I'm very excited for that.
Tatum Bethune had a ton of nice things to say about him. What can you say about him?
He's a leader. He's a hard-working guy. He's smart. He's very humble. But at the same time, he's confident. And he's a positive guy. Even when things can go left or kind of hit a bump in the road, he always look at things in a positive light. So
It's kind of nice to know that you have a guy that you're familiar with in the classes with you.
Yes, it is, because we done been in that fire before with each other. We done won together, done lost together, did everything. So just knowing that I got a brother from back at the crib, it mean a lot.
Seems like he can really hit too.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been on the field with him during some of those hits that we've seen on highlight tapes. But what is it like to play defense with kind of a throwback kind of player like that?
He's a tone setter. If the defense needs a spark, and he just go, smash somebody, it's crank everybody up, everybody get turned up. He's a tone setter. He brings energy to the defense, and he brings a type of mentality and old school smash mouth football type of mentality to the defense.
Have you gotten a chance to talk to any of your new teammates? And if you haven't, who are you most excited to maybe talk to, ask questions from?
I ain't talked to too many of them. A few guys that I met in locker room and stuff, I talked to them. Talked to a few other rookies. I just want to pick the older secondary and older vets. I just want to pick their brain a little bit. Let them tell me things about the league, or just help me process things faster. Really.
Have you watched much of Charvarius Ward and Diamond Lenore?
Yeah. I done seen them guys play. They're good corners. I actually got a teammate, Jerry Jones, and he always talking about Ward. He's always talking about him because I guess they both from Mississippi. And I see that he had a real good season. I believe it's the past season. I'm just ready just to pick their brain, just learn as much as I can from them, because they vets and they've been here before me. So.
Has it been an adjustment coming to California at all yet? I know it's new, but are you ready for it?
It wasn't. I ain't really do nothing to really see the adjustment yet. I just know there ain't no houses in hills in Florida, and it's hotter than this and way more humid than this. I know that. That's one thing I do know.
Do you have a sense of how your style of play will fit with this defense and kind of what you bring to the table, how it fits with what the 49ers want you to do?
It's a hungry, aggressive, attacking defense, and I feel like I have those traits, to do whatever I can do to help the team out.
What's the playbook like, assuming you've got to look at some of the defenses? Did it jump out as wow, that's complicated, or no, this is all right?
Yeah, it's not too complicated. It's not too complicated.
You were the only guy in the draft class who only went to one college. You stayed all 5 years at Florida State. Were you ever tempted to go? Obviously, in today's age, you can't move around. Were you tempted to go, and why did you stay?
I definitely was tempted to go, but Florida State was a dream school, and I believed in staying loyal to what I committed to. And then when things get hard, that just don't mean just up and leave and run away from the challenge. So I really just decided to stand in the paint, and I just knew that I can bet on myself. I knew that I had coaches standing behind me, and I knew we was all working towards a goal. So I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, and I worked for everything I wanted.
I worked for Norvell quite a bit back in Memphis before he went to FSU. Anything that you can speak to when you talk about now that you're here with the 49ers that maybe you've talked to Norvell and things he's said that maybe will stick with you through your career here in the NFL?
Be you. That's the main thing. He just told me, be me, be you.
So how's your life changed since you received the phone call from the 49ers?
Yeah, it's changed a lot, just excited to be here. Lifelong dream of mine, just being able to fulfill that, get started, get to work with the new team. So just blessed to be able to have this opportunity.
Who have you met so far since you've been here?
I mean, I've kind of just been doing a whole bunch of, paperwork stuff. I haven't really met anybody yet, but I've talked to some people over the phone. Hufanga hit me up when I got the call, got the draft pick. He DM'd me on Instagram. Even George Kittle DM'd me and stuff, so that was pretty cool. So guys have reached out. Coaches are very welcoming as well. So excited to meet the new guys out there.
I think when we first talked to you on that Zoom call, you mentioned Hufanga as somebody who, an eraser that you try to model some of your game after. So how cool was it to hear from somebody that you had watched from afar?
Yeah, it was just awesome. And now just being able to be the opportunity to be his teammate is going to be awesome. Just being able to be a sponge and, learn from him, the way he just comes down, his tenacity, his mentality, the way he approaches the game is something that, I really took a lot about his book and try to implement in my own game. So it'd be nice to kind of get like a firsthand experience, learning from him and just being able to be accustomed to the new defense and the new players on the team.
It's going to be a while before you really get to hit somebody, but I assume being done with the 40s and the broad jumps and the verticals and all the stuff that you train for the, to get prepared for the draft, feel good to be behind you and get closer to playing football again?
Oh, yeah, that's why we're all here, just try to get back to the basics, get back to why we play this game, things like that. So, it's going to start for me tomorrow, but at the same time, just be able to learn that playbook as fast as I can so I can, get back to playing football at just a fast pace, mentality where I'm able to be comfortable and be able to, make plays out there for the team.
Have that gone through kind of like what the structure of the practices will be, the tempo or anything like that?
Not really. They kind of just gave us the meeting format. Practice isn't going to be that long, but, I'm just kind of focused on just making every opportunity I have out there worth it. So.
I'd read, I don't know if Zach read, but you were a zero-star recruit. What were people missing when you were late in your high school career, or were you just not developed at that point?
Sometimes coaches just miss, and, maybe it's just an exposure thing as well. I tried to, transfer that last year of my high school year to kind of get more. I got a lot of FCS offers, blessed to have those, but, maybe it just wasn't the right time for me. And, I took a great opportunity to go to University of Richmond, and then I was able to be blessed to transfer to the Wake Forest Demon Deacons and have a really promising career there, 3-year career there. So, sometimes, maybe it's just not your time, not your moment. You just got to, stay the course and just be patient, and everything will work itself out.
To kind of reflect on that journey and then now be here as a Niner, how does that kind of feel when you think back of what you may have been thinking then to what you're thinking now?
Yeah, it was all about, proving myself right and, not worrying about proving other people wrong. You gotta, understand who you are as a person, your identity, your purpose, your journey. You get caught up in the noise, the social media era that we're in, get caught up in what other people are doing. You kind of get lost in your own path. And I think the main thing for me was just to stay on course with me, worry about myself, hone in on my craft, and how am I going to be the best Malik Mustapha I can be.
Did you ever watch some film of John Lynch or start studying anything?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to dig deep for that film, but yeah, I definitely heard good things about. I'm hip with the John Lynch, the Ronnie Lotts of the world, things like that. So, when I was connecting with him at the combine, it was something that we hit it off simply because safety to safety, we have that kind of relationship. So. Definitely gotta maybe pull up some VHS tapes or something or whatever it is, dust that off. But yeah, just awesome to just be a part of an organization, general manager that just has been a part of the game. He actually understands his players, understands the game, and someone that can relate to us.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that meeting with John Lynch?
Yeah, so we just getting to know each other, getting able to talk ball. But it was just, he was kind of lighting up when I was just, breaking down the, Wake Forest play calls that they had pulled up, play by play, things like that. So, as a safety, you kind of be able to have to know moving pieces, who's, doing what in the defense. And he was just something that, he saw that I know what I'm talking about, So it was just awesome to, not just be able to play football at a high level, but understand the game as well.
Can you remind me the name of the role at Wake Forest on the third downs, that kind of rover role that you played?
Yeah, it was called the Panther.
The Panther, okay.
Yeah.
How many different responsibilities do you think that entailed, and how many years or how long did it take to learn all the different kind of positions with the playbook to be able to play them effectively?
Yeah, so the new defensive staff at Wake Forest came that 2022 season, and I had my ACL surgery January 2022. So that Panther package really didn't get installed until I came back for fall camp, in August around that time, and that's when they started installing different stuff for that. So because I was came back ready to go for camp, and that's when coaches like started comfortable developing new packages for me. And with that Panther package, there was a lot of hats that I had to wear. In the beginning, it was more so like maybe some fire zone calls we can get, like me able to pressure the quarterback and being able to use my athleticism to kind of disrupt them. We saw me spying the quarterback as well, but there was times where you saw me that I'm in the defensive line front, or I'm in the line with the linebackers, or people were so worried about me close to the line of scrimmage where there was some games where I just dropped deep and played a middle third player. So just coach being able to entrust in me, being able to pick that up, and being able to cook up different techniques and defensive week by week based off the teams was something that he trusted me with, and it was just something that it was just a tell of what we're feeling that week. So definitely a lot of versatility within that package.
You do a couple more.
You're not obviously the biggest safety, but you are known for your aggression and flying around and going downhill and everything. Does that require? Well, obviously it does. Tell me about what kind of courage that requires, and did you have that from an early age?
I mean, yeah, like earlier, me being a 0-star recruit, a lot of that is just adding to the chips on my shoulder, things like that, being undersized, being overlooked, things like that. And me developing that just, kind of just formed a mentality within myself, not worrying about how big I am. We all got pads on, we all got helmets on, and I'm just worried about bringing the ball carried down and getting away takeaways. So it was just a matter of me just being able to, when I see the ball, I'm just going to go attack it and disrupt it any way I can. So it's not about, how tall I am, how big I am, but me just, having the heart and the desire. And I think the fuel that I have for this game and the love I have for it is what drives me to be that way.
You're known, despite, even though you have that aggression, as not being out of control as far as a tackler, being very solid. Is there a particular coach that you, I guess, credit some of that for?
Yeah, definitely my coaches at Wake, the new staff that came in 2022, James Adams, my safeties coach, and the defensive coordinator, Brad Lambert. They just honed in on the details. I think that was the main thing. Everybody's athletic at the next level. Everybody's, talented, but it's all about, how different are you from the next person in terms of your craft, your work ethic, your technique, and being a technician. And that's what helped me get to the NFL and be able to, hopefully perform at a high level. So it's just all about honing on the details, the drills that we did, the repetition, even the way we went about walkthrough. It was, same thing, repetition over and over again until it was a part of our nature, our culture, and our defense. So it's something that definitely just elevate me as a player.
I don't think every DB likes to get as close to the line of scrimmage as you do, obviously, because there's a lot more contact there. How far can you trace that back into your career? Have you always been a guy that loves kind of being in the middle of the fray?
Yeah, I mean, it was something because I didn't convert to defense until high school, and I was really a corner before I was a safety. So I think a mix of that was just, the off season when I was just trying to get bigger, being on the smaller sides, and then being able to understand my body once I started getting bigger, and being able to keep up with the best of them. Now I'm able to just be able to utilize my strength, my speed, my ability, and be able to enforce that onto the offense. So it was definitely something that I had to learn how to do. But once I kind of made that into my game, it helped me kind of become that player.
Did you and Talanoa have any ACL recovery discussion?
Sorry, what was that?
Did you and Talanoa have any ACL recovery discussion?
I actually meant to talk to him. That was just a crazy day when I got drafted, so I didn't get to it. But, yeah, definitely something that I kind of want to talk to him about because, I'm pretty sure with him, I don't think that's going to slow him down at all. And even with me, it was something that, I accepted. This recovery is going to suck. This recovery, can make or break you, and the strongest will prevail. So it was something that I was blessed to come back in a short period of time and be able to play a full season. And it's just all about your purpose and your why and your mentality, how you approach things, and that's just life in general. So it was just a hump in the road that helped me build my character and my play.
How many games before you felt like you were 100% like back to normal, not thinking about it as much?
I think I got chop blocked like on the third game, and I got up and I was like, I didn't feel anything, so that's when I knew I was like, okay, I'm good. So yeah,
that one hit.
Yeah, that's all it takes, man. So it was cool.
All right, thanks for your time.
I appreciate you guys.
We're gonna try and have Jacob Cowing come in too, if we can squeeze him in.
So did you make the drive from Anderson?
Yep, 3.5 hours. Yeah, not too bad this morning. So not too much traffic either, which was nice.
It's kind of nice being able to be close to home, and it's not a huge adjustment, really.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, I spent a little bit of time down here, this area, so I'm kind of used to it. So very similar to home. So just a little bit more people and more busy. So.
How is that when you grow up in a small town like that? I think I've read the population is pretty small. How many stoplights are in your town?
It's not that small.
Okay.
There's like 10,000 people in like my city, and then Reading, like we're mainly we do all our shopping and where my dad's business and stuff is. It's like 100,000 people, so it's decently sized. So it's not like I'm out in the sticks. So.
I know you said you weren't a 49ers fan growing up, but in your community, has there been a lot of excitement?
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of pretty much all my high school buddies are all 49ers fans, so it was cool like getting that rolling with them too, like because they're huge 49ers fans. So, and now I'm a huge 49er fan. So, so yeah.
Who was your team when you grew up?
So my whole family's from LA, so I kind of wasn't forced to be a Rams fan, but like I kind of grew up being a Rams fan, and then I was also a USC fan growing up. And I followed Clay Matthews his whole college career, and then followed him to the Packers. So I'm also a Packers fan. So not anymore. No, was a Packers fan. There you go. So
what's on the itinerary this week for this minicamp? What you just got here now? You have to go through medical, I assume?
Yeah, all medical stuff, and then
you don't have a playbook yet or anything?
Yeah, so I've been doing some meetings and stuff, and I have my playbook already, and already been studying and trying to get it down. So.
What's that process like? Just
trying to memorize everything. Like everything that offensive lineman does, I've already done 1,000 times. It's just all like learning the new calls and learning like what's the difference. I mean, there are differences, but it's all the same relatively. So.
Have you got a chance to look around yet and check out the weight room?
Yeah, I did. I just went and did my body composition over there, and that's awesome. Yeah. It's cool. The whole surrounding, everything around here is awesome. I got down here a little early, so I drove around a little bit and kind of checked it out. Told my wife what it's like too, so she's not surprised when she comes down here. So.
How long have you been married?
So almost a year. It'll be a year on the 20th. So.
Are you here for good now? Like as far as moving to the Bay Area, and you can stay with the entire off-season program for here on out?
Yep. Yeah, I think all the rookies are in the hotel all summer, and then my wife will move down here too and get settled in.
You've had a few weeks to kind of settle in since, coming to the 49ers. Mm-hmm. How have you been feeling just when you think back and reflect with your wife and your family? What's those thoughts like?
I'm just grateful and just excited to get to work, but yeah, mainly grateful for the opportunity.
You played several years at Washington State for Mike Leach. Obviously, that was an air raid kind of attack. Do you feel that helped prepare you specifically for pass protection? Just the fact that you were able to get so many reps, pass blocking?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I think like the 2 years I did have Mike Leach, we really only pass blocked, even like in practice. We run blocked a little bit, but yeah, I think so. Just having so many reps at it really helped me with that.
And then as your career progressed, you got more run blocking work in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who would you credit, or what kind of system and work would you credit for being able to polish that to get drafted?
Yeah, I think this last year with like Josh Henson, my offensive line coach at USC, really helped me with the run blocking, inside zone, outside zone, gap scheme, like, and not just like physically able to do it, but like mentally, like learn more about it in general too. So I think this last year at USC, I really took another step with it.
Did Mike Leach recruit you out of high school?
Yeah.
What was that process like, and any crazy stories?
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, so he's from Susanville, which is like Northern California, and you like go like towards Mount Lassen, like up in the boonies up there. So he has family in Cotton, which is like another outskirt of Reading. So it was cool. It was awesome. There's 1,000 things I could say about Mike Leach, but just like his meetings, his personality, just everything was awesome. He was a great person.
He ever get after you a little bit?
Not really, because I mean I was still a younger guy. He really didn't focus on younger guys, I guess, when they first got there. So not right away, but I think towards like the end of him being at Washington State, we formed a pretty good relationship. And actually, when he left, he wanted me. Like he talked to me about actually going to Mississippi State with him out there, but I told him I'd stay. So.
Did you ask him for wedding advice? Did you see that?
I have seen that video. Yeah. No, yeah. There's so many videos and everything. He was great. Yeah.
You've had a few different hairstyles through the years?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I had long hair like my junior year of high school. My hair is really, really curly. not when I wear a hat because it flattens it down. But my hair is really curly, so I had long curly hair down like the middle of my back, and then got super tired of it, and then cut it all off, and then grew it out a little bit again, and then cut it off, and now I think I'm short-haired for the rest of my life. So.
Your business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my wife loved my long hair, so she was like, "Bring it back." I'm like, I can't do that again. So that was good.
What are your first impressions of Chris, first year offensive line coach?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to him a little bit, but I mean, he's just a legend. He's one of the best offensive line coaches in the league, and I'm just excited to learn from him and get under his wing and see how great I can be.
Have you guys has he talked about your film at all yet?
A little bit, yeah. He likes how physical I am playing, and I think that, I mean, he also told me what I need to work on too, and come here and develop better too. So.
Do veteran linemen reach out at all in any way to say hello and welcome, or do you don't see them till training camp, basically?
No, not really.
Or OTAs and
I don't really see them till training camp. There's a few, like another rookies that got drafted kind of reached out and said hi, and I've reached out to a few. So.
I have a kind of a nerdy question.
Yeah.
Your short shuttle. I have a short shuttle question.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's supposed to be, can be a really good indicator of future NFL success. Which
Yeah.
sounds kind of silly, like what, the short shuttle.
Mhm.
But are you obviously you had an impressive time? I mean, are you familiar with that? And has anyone like in the NFL world said, "Hey, dude, your short shuttle"? Sweet.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah, it was a good time, but I actually was running better training wise. I was like running like a 4.3, so I was running even faster training. So I was kind of, I mean, I think leading up to the shuttle, that was the last thing at the combine. So I think I was already so tired at that point that, I mean, I still ran a decent time, but I think that it would have been better if I ran it first or something. But I mean, I think I've always been pretty good at it because we trained it. Even in like my freshman year, we would like train it, just like combine training, 40s, shuttle. So I was very familiar already going into it and just got better with it, training. So.
Speaking
Are you like? Has anyone said anything about that? Like, hey, that's a big deal or something?
I mean,
to that effect?
well, after I ran, I called my dad, and he's like, "That was a good time." I'm like, I thought I could do better, but so there's been some positive encouragement from it and positive feedback from it for sure.
How does that translate to the game? I mean, how are you using that as an offensive lineman?
I just think it shows like how quickly you can move laterally because we do, as offensive linemen, we do move laterally. Just how quickly you can change direction, how low you can stay, because it's all about like how low you can stay and how quickly you can move. So that's a big indication.
Beating the defensive lineman off the snap. I mean, are you
A little
trying
bit,
to
yeah.
outquick him?
Yeah, it shows how twitchy you are too. Which is a big thing for offensive linemen, especially in this scheme the 49ers run. So
Yeah, all four rookie O-linemen have really fast short shuttle
Yeah.
times, and I'm guessing looking your early looks at the scheme here, do you think with the 49ers that's something that's particularly pronounced? They want that quickness?
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I mean, really anywhere on the offensive line you want athletic guys, but especially how much we run outside zone, how much we get off the ball, run off the ball type thing. So you want more athletic linemen for sure.
Thank you.